Welcome to another ABC University training session. In this training, we're going to cover the door overview and door adjustment. Safety precaution for passenger doors. Warning: after working on the passenger door, check the opening and closing safety feature for correct operation of the door before putting the vehicle back into service. In this slide, we show you your door air diagram animated as if it was working. Let's go over your schematic diagram. Number 1 is your compressed air supply. Number 2 is your 4 two-way valve manually operated. Number 3 is your flow control valve. Number 4 is your 4 two-way valve electrically operated. Number 5 is your flow control valve. Number 6 is your door actuating cylinder. Number 7 is your pressure switch, DK055. Number 8 is your reversing switch, MS028. Number 9 is your limited switch, MS033.2. Number 10 is your switch, MS059, to open or close the door from the exterior. Number 11 is your dash switch, S091, to open and close the door from the interior. Number 12 is your locking switch, MS057. B plus is your voltage after batteries. And Z is your circuit breaker or fuse. Functions and locations of switches. MS028, a normally open switch, reverses door movement if the door panel runs into something or somebody on the door cylinder. Location: on door cylinder. Switch MS033.2, a normally closed switch, cuts off the reversing system just before the door is fully closed. It is also located on the door cylinder. MS057, a normally closed switch, ensures that the door can only be opened or closed if it is not locked. It is located on the door control panel on the door handle. MS059, normally open, to open and close from the outside. Door control panel on the door handle. S091, normally open switch, to open and close from the inside. This switch is located on the dashboard panel. And pressure switch DK055, normally open, ensures that the reversing system only works while closing the door. Screwed into port 21 of the 4 two-way valve. Let's go over your throttle valve. The throttle valve is a differential pressure regulator. Its purpose is to prevent door slamming when the air system is recharged with the emergency release valve. Settings have been determined by the manufacturer. However, adjustments can be made by removing the plastic cap and turning the adjusting screw clockwise will increase the time needed for the repressurization, and counterclockwise will decrease that time. Door mechanism components. Number 1 is your piston. 2 is your needle bearing assembly. 3 is your bearing hub. 4 is your shaft. 5 is your ball bearing cage assembly. 6 is your space washers. 7 is your tension spring. 8 is your pressure plug. 9 is your adjustable pivot pin. 10 is your upper door pillar. 11 is your coupler nut. And 12 is the bushings, seals, and washers. Checking your passenger door emergency air release. First, you have your exterior emergency air handle is under the front passenger door. Your interior emergency handle on the right front lower dash panel. And this could vary by coach. To check the emergency release valves, turn the door emergency handle clockwise by a quarter of a turn. The door should lower immediately, causing it to come loose of the locking wedges. so that it can be pulled open by hand. Repeat this check for each of the emergency handles inside and outside. Door control components behind the right-hand dash panel. Number 1, you have your throttle valve. Number 2, you have your door solenoid valve. In this slide, we're going to show you an example of how your door solenoid valve operates when opening or closing the door. Check safety devices and emergency release valves. Step 1. Close the door. When it is approximately half closed, try to stop the door from closing. This will require some force. Step 2. Does the passenger door reopen automatically within 10 seconds? If yes, reopening system is okay. If it did not, we would go to Step 3 in the maintenance manual. Step 3 would be check safety switches for proper adjustment. Step 4. Check the limit switch and see if the switch opens just before door closing. Safety reopen switch locations. Number 1. Reversing switch. Door 1 MS028. If you had a second door, it would be MS029. Number 2 is your limit switch. On door 1, MS033.2, and on door 2, MS033.1. Safety reopen switch adjustments. To set reversing switch, step 1, loosen the fastening screws number 1 of the actuating cam number 2. Step 2, slide the actuating cam upward until the switch contacts close. Step 3, secure the actuating cam in the position. To adjust your limit switch, step 1, loosen the fastening screw number 2 of the actuating cam number 1. Close the door manually. Step 3, turn the actuating cam until the switch contacts open. Secure the actuating cam in this position. Door inspection. Check cam positions by exhausting air pressure from the system with the emergency release valve. Then, close the door manually. With the door closed but not yet lifted, there should be a vertical clearance of 0.04 to 0.08 of an inch between the cams. It is very important to make sure all 4 wedge cam locks are adjusted equally. If one lock is out of adjustment, the door will rattle. Close the emergency release valve and operate the door. The door should lift 0.23 to 0.39 of an inch at the end of the door closing movement. Door adjustment. In the picture to the left, number 1 is your locking wedge on the door post. Number 2 is your locking cam on the door leaf. To adjust door wedges, loosen bolts on the locking cams on door leaf number 2 and adjust cams to 0.04 to 0.08 tenths between the cams. Apply a small amount of grease on the sliding surface of the locking wedge and the locking cams. Remember that all 4 wedge cam locks are adjusted equally. To check opening and closing times. With a stopwatch, check the duration of the door swing movement. Door opening closing time should be 4 to 5 seconds. To adjust your opening and closing times, ensure pressure of 115 to 130 psi is in the air tanks. If your door moves too slowly, turn adjuster number 2 counterclockwise by a quarter turn at a time until speed is correct. If your door closes too fast, turn adjuster number 2 clockwise by a quarter turn at a time until speed is correct. To increase dampening, turn adjuster number 1 clockwise, and to decrease dampening, turn adjuster number 1 counterclockwise. To lubricate passenger door spindle, pump 3 to 5 strokes of grease into the nipple. Use NLGI number 2 high temperature grease with molybdenum MOS2. Caution: ensure you use only the specified grease. To preserve your rubber door seals. Rubber edge trims on doors will harden less quickly if you treat them with silicone spray. Make sure you do not forget the inside of the rubber seals on the door leaf. The inside has to be able to slide smoothly along the post when the door leaf rises. Caution: do not use Vaseline as it freezes in winter and will tear the rubbers. In this slide, we show you an excerpt from the maintenance manual for the maintenance on the doors. So in conclusion of this training, we showed you door components, adjusting the doors, how to maintain the doors, and this is going to conclude our training. For questions regarding this webcast, please contact ABC's Technical Service Department at 877-427-7278. Listen for the prompts for Coach Technical Support and select the appropriate option. Support is available at this number 24/7.